Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of my series in SkyTeam Road to Gold. Today you join me at the Citizen M Hotel at Paris Charles-De-Gaulle as we get ready to fly from Paris back to Cardiff. Let's go. At Paris Charles-De-Gaulle Airport, Air France have their own designated Sky Priority check-in area for people travelling in business class or with status in Terminal 2E. We did wait in line here for about 10 minutes before the only check-in agent just walked off, and we ended up checking in on the kiosks instead. Not really a problem, it could have been communicated a little bit better though. So a little bit about the flight today. We'll be travelling from Charles de Gaulle in Paris back to Cardiff International Airport in Wales on an Air France Airbus A320 in Euro Business class. Before we could do that though, we had to get an intra-terminal train. Unlike the one from my previous video, this one is a people mover that is solely to connect the different areas of Terminal 2 at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. We finally get to where we're going, and that is the L gates at Terminal 2 as we follow signs for the Air France Lounge at Terminal 2L. So after a couple of minutes walk there, which I sped up for you, and a trip up in the elevator, we finally make it to the Air France lounge. So my first impressions of the lounge is that for a short haul business class lounge, it is massive. My only other experience of short haul lounges are the BA galleries at both Terminal 5 Heathrow and Gatwick, and this blows both of them out of the water completely. I would say though that I did arrive in the evening, but I think that it's so big that I probably would not have had an issue finding a space even if I had arrived at peak time. At both ends of the lounge, there's the typical buffet style selection where you can help yourself to an assortment of food and beverages. I am told that it changes fairly regularly. The day I was there, I had a chicken and bacon pasta bake, along with some breads, some cold cuts, and a beer to sit down and watch the rugby while Wales were getting pounded at home by France. Something I did find cool about the lounge was you were down this corridor and there was a wellness centre on the left and napping rooms straight ahead of you. I didn't really film the napping rooms properly. I do go in there for a quick swing around, but obviously I was trying to respect people's privacy as much as possible on the inside, so I'll speed this bit up for you. And before long, we were sent back down in the elevator as it was time to head to the gate. The gate was only a couple of minutes walk from the lounge exit itself, but I have sped this up as I have quite a few bits of this video just because it would just be footage of me walking through the terminal. Within about 30 seconds of me arriving at the gate, Group 1 was called to board this Airbus A320 registration Foxtrot Hotel Echo Papa Bravo for the flight back to Cardiff. I am in seat 1F today on the opposite side to the way out, but still in the bulkhead row.
Hi, how are you?
As I said in part 1 of the series, Euro Business Class, it is literally just an economy row with the middle seat blocked. All the value you get is in the soft product for the flight, which once again with Air France I was really impressed with. They provided a bottle of water on the seats as we arrived. A refreshing towel was provided by the crew pretty much as soon as I'd sat down as well. And I was really shocked to see a pillow on board for such a short flight. I think the flight time ended up being about 55 minutes. So pleasantly surprised to see a pillow provided for those who did want to try and get about half hour, 45 minutes of shut-eye. As already said, it's an economy row with the middle seat blocked. There's a decent bit of recline, individual air vents, which is nice. You don't see that all the time anymore, but this was a slightly older variant, the Airbus A320, about 15 years or so old. Some adjustable headrests, which is a nice touch on such an old plane. Didn't really expect it. Even though I was in the bulkhead, there wasn't really that much leg room. As you can see, my feet pressed right up against that wall, and I had to sort of tilt them to the side actually to get some decent room. But as I was recording that, it was time to push back from the gate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The cabin crew is pleased to be with you on this flight. We are here to ensure both your safety and comfort during this journey. We are pleased to inform you that this aircraft is equipped with a Wi-Fi network, allowing you to stay connected. Members of the cabin crew speak Spanish and also Italian. Very shortly departing. Please take your seat fasten and adjust your seatbelt.
And as suddenly as we pulled off from the gate, we pulled straight back onto stand due to an issue with one of the onboard computers. The captain did brief us. I will give his announcement in this video shortly, but I think it was about 25 minutes in the end before they pushed us back for a second time.
We have to perform returns of parking, to fix some technical problems. Just a reset of computers that should take not more than 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you for your patience. I will give you further more information quickly. Thank you.
As I said, it ended up taking a little bit longer than the captain said, but they did update us again about halfway through the wait just to let us know. The cabin crew came around with a drink service for everyone in Euro business, which was appreciated while we were waiting on the ground. As I said, it wasn't long before we were able to push back and start our taxi to the runway. I will leave the full unedited departure from Charles-De-Gaulle in the video for you. Very shortly after departure, a cold cuts meal was served up, and it was actually really nice. There was a big fuss recently about British Airways cutting hot meals on some of these shorter hops, and I actually prefer the colder ones that Air France do here. This part of the toilet was hanging off. I'm not really sure what was meant to hold it in place, but it clearly wasn't working. The toilet was clean. It was a 55-minute hop, like I said. Wouldn't really expect anything else. All the usual amenities provided for such a short flight. Some really nice views of the city of London and then of Heathrow Airport as we started our descent into Cardiff. There was a third and then a fourth drink service offered on such a short flight. Is really impressive from this crew at Air France. Really enjoyed my time flying with them. and I would not hesitate to do it again in a heartbeat. I will leave a full unedited version of the touchdown into Cardiff in here for you as well. Before I leave my conclusion at the end, but by all means skip forward to that if this is not your thing. So as we pull on to stand at Cardiff, my thoughts. I've only ever done, like I said, short-haul European business class with British Airways in the past, and Air France really blew them out of the water, especially on the flight from their hub airport in Paris. The lounge there, the experience, the crew, everything was much better, in my opinion, on this one flight. I really am looking forward to trying them again next time. What I would say though is that the ground staff at Paris were not as hospitable as the ones I found when travelling out of London on other airlines in the past. I am going to be trying that again on my next trip. I commute through Paris, so I'll be able to see if that's a one-off or if that's just how it is there at Charles-De-Gaulle. The airport there gets a lot of hate and I really don't understand it, because I really like it. It's not the best in the world by any means, but it's a good hub facility. Anyway, I really do appreciate you joining me for part 2. Next time, I'll be flying from Cardiff again to Amsterdam on KLM City Hopper, so join me along for that. Like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.